Hey, hope you're all safe. So, I get asked a lot about Instagram and the way that Instagram works. Now, I am absolutely no expert. I guess my Instagram page is, I'd say, moderately successful. It's certainly not as successful as a lot of people. As a photographer on Instagram, I kind of do okay, but I have a second advantage, which is I'm a massive nerd. So, all the stuff around how Instagram works, how the algorithm works. You'll hear people talk about things like algorithms and all sorts of stuff related to IG. And I just find all that stuff really interesting, and I enjoy trying to work this stuff out and trying to find out how it works. So I thought I would share some thoughts. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, particularly when people's pages get stuck. So they've got, I don't know, let's say 5,000 followers and they don't ever really seem to move. They stagnate around that kind of number. Now we need to look at what Instagram looks for and how Instagram deals with things like what they call reach, or engagement, which is how many people see your stuff. Because if new people are not seeing your stuff, then how are people going to find you and follow you? Unless somebody randomly happens to type in your username, they're never ever going to find you. So what you need to do is get your stuff seen by more people. Now, the way that Instagram will promote you to people, it promotes you to people in a couple of ways. There's hashtags, and we'll talk about hashtags. In fact, I might have to take that out as a completely separate topic because that's just such a big one. But also things like the explore page and showing up in other people's suggested feeds. So you followed John, so you may also like Bob. Check these accounts out. It's getting featured by Instagram. What Instagram is constantly trying to fight against is the number of bot accounts, and a bot account is some kind of automated account that somebody's set up that likes and follows and does a whole bunch of stuff automatically to try and appear like a real person in the hope of gaining followers or likes or money, or I don't know what the hell else these bots are set up for. What you need to do to Instagram is to prove that you're a real person. So that means interacting with the platform naturally and normally. So avoid multiple likes, multiple comments, avoid commenting always the same thing. I get the same person that every time I post an image, no matter what it is, always posts exactly the same comment. And I looked at their history and looked at what they were doing, and they post exactly the same comment on everybody else's picture. And it's something like, super image, well done. And they just post that on absolutely everything. But again, bot behavior, don't do that stuff. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to engage with people. You need to engage with people that are following you. So if somebody puts a comment on one of your images, reply to that comment. You need to reply to that comment within about an hour. After an hour, it kind of becomes a bit pointless. So within the first hour of somebody leaving a comment on your image, reply to it. Reply to it with at least 5 words, and that's no emojis. So not watermelon, smiley face, cat, Dalek, right? That's not going to work. And vary those responses again. So like I said with the comments on other people's images, don't always leave the same replies. Now, the other factor related to engagement is the people that follow you. So Instagram wants to see that you're playing the game, right? That you're part of the platform and that you're interacting with the people that follow you. Go and look on their profile. When somebody leaves you a comment, go look at their page. Love some images, leave a comment, more than 5 words again, no emojis. Make sure that you're doing that stuff, and that will show that you're interacting with people. So people are liking your stuff, you're liking their stuff, they're leaving comments, you're leaving comments, and gradually you will start to see your engagement start to rise. Now, there are 2 final ways that you can help your reach. One is working with people who have a good reach and who have a good following. Now, that kind of goes without saying, I guess, but of course, if you're, for example, a photographer like me and you work with a model who has 100 followers and she posts your photo, then that's potentially 100 new people that are going to see your work. You work with somebody with 200,000 followers, that's a lot of new people. And I know it sounds cynical, but working with people with large followings absolutely increases your exposure, increases your views. So absolutely make sure that when people are posting your stuff that they are tagging you in it. The other thing you can do is look at who you are tagging in your post, because what you want to do is you want to get reposted. So I suppose if you use Twitter, it's a little bit like being retweeted. So you want your picture that you post to get seen by the biggest audience possible. and that would be being posted by the model and being posted by some of the big repost pages. So, for example, if you go and if you look at any of my posts, just click on them, look at who's tagged, you will see that I constantly tag a lot of the big repost pages. And now that I've been doing that for quite some time, and I guess my work is of a good enough quality and I work with good enough models, I quite often get my stuff reposted. So if I post a photo, I can hope that it would get reshared maybe 3 or 4 times. So every time that happens, my stuff is constantly getting seen by a bigger audience each time that I do it. Now, the other thing Instagram is particularly hot on at the moment is it wants to see you using all of the platform as well. So not just the photo sharing, but making sure you're using the stories, and in your stories making sure you're using things like questions and polls. Make sure you're doing Instagram Live. Instagram TV is amazing as well. Video posts by default have a much greater reach than standard photos, so if you can get some video in your feed, all the better, but make sure you're using all of the different tools that Instagram offers you. Now let me show you this stuff in action. So if you have a business page or if you have a creator page, you'll be able to get to something like this, which is your audience insights. What this shows me is a really simple graph that shows my overall followers over a 7-day period. So it shows me my overall number on that day, who followed me, who unfollowed me. So let's have a look at this. So starting on Saturday, I can see that 131 people followed me, 61 people unfollowed me, which gave me a overall total of 17. Now I didn't post much on that day at all. Same for the Sunday, really didn't do much at all. Monday I think I did a post, but generally my reach across those days was pretty low, and in fact once we flicked onto Tuesday, wow, it took a complete nosedive. But then what we see is, as I go on to Wednesday, I posted a photo of Eliza Watson, and Eliza is spectacularly popular. So look at that. Look at my reach between Wednesday and Thursday. Look at that jump up from kind of pretty much zip to it suddenly went up to some pretty good numbers for me. So for me, for a day, I'd say anything over kind of 200 followers in a day is pretty good. I know some people will see much higher numbers than that, but again, for me as a photographer, that's pretty good. And then again, I suppose a little bit almost like flattening the corona curve, you'll then see that as that died off, that sort of bubble of activity died off over that day, then dropped down again the following day. So these sorts of tools are really interesting, because this is how I look at and how I graph my progress, and I can really see when I'm inactive. So across kind of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, where I really didn't do much on the platform and just posted a few things, didn't follow my own rules, so I wasn't really engaging with people, my engagement literally dropped off a cliff. And as soon as I got reposted by some other big pages off the back of that post, actually took some time to engage with people, make sure I was replying to my comments, doing all the things which I've talked about in this video. Boom, my engagement went up, and then I stopped again and it came down again. So this really was to kind of prove a point so I could show you how this stuff works in action. The number one thing, be real. Don't give Instagram an opportunity to think that you're a bot or think that you're a fake account. Engage with your followers, like and reply to stuff. Make sure you're behaving normally and naturally on the platform. Make sure you've been tagged in your images. There's no point working with somebody with 500,000 followers if they then don't tag you in the image, so you don't get seen. Luckily, I think that's pretty rare, but certainly on some of the repost pages, I have seen it where they often don't credit everybody involved. So if you happen to see that, just call it out, drop them a message, and quite often they will happily tag you. Make sure you're responding to your any comments on images within an hour. Make sure they are at least 5 words, not including emojis, and try and make that engaging and try and get some conversations going in your posts. The same as with things like post descriptions. Try and actually start some kind of conversation in there, because again, Instagram will see that dialogue happening and will reward your engagement and how many people see your stuff. And don't forget to use all of the tools that are available to you across the platform. Again, the more of the platform you use, the more you will be rewarded. Thank you for watching. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. Until next time, stay safe. Thank you.